The Conjuring came out of nowhere in 2013 and has spawned the second highest grossing horror franchise of all time. The Conjuring franchise is one of the biggest in horror history, and with these kinds of scary moments that they keep serving up, it's easy to see why. So get yourselves comfy and let's take a look at 10 scary moments from the Conjuring movies. Number 10, Beneath the Bed. The Curse of La Llorona might be the most critically panned entry into the franchise, but it still just about claws its way into our top 10. There aren't too many tension building moments, and the jump scares are overdone, but this one is still very intense. Two children are hiding under the bed with various unfortunate things happening around them. They notice the bedsheet rising from the bed and crawl out onto their backs, looking up at the floating linen, which shoots down at them with a blood-curdling scream. Like we said, it might not be the most popular movie to come out of the Conjuring universe, but it's still worth a watch. Number 9, The Hand on the Shoulder. The Conjuring 2 had a lot to live up to when following on from the first film in the series. It had to combine a lot of tension with just the right amount of jump scares, and it pulled it off to an extent. One of the most effective moments in the film comes during a moment of particular tension, with Lorraine talking to Bill in an eerily silent, slow exchange. Out of nowhere, the nun grabs Bill's shoulder and screams, baring all of her disgusting teeth. Number 8, The Staircase. Annabelle creation was designed to give a backstory to the terrifying Annabelle doll. It isn't really necessary to provide such a story, but of course it will inject some money into the franchise. One of the scariest sequences in the film comes when Janice confronts a demon. It kicks off with a jump scare that reveals the demon and sees Janice make the rather clever decision to use a stair lift to quietly escape. Things get very intense when it becomes clear her plan hasn't worked, and the demon sends Janice soaring down the stairs, breaking her legs and confining her to a wheelchair. The scene is absolutely chilling. Number 7, The Clapping. More often referred to as the hide and clap scene, this creepy moment from the first Conjuring film is about as classic as a ghost story can be. Full of creaking doors and unexplained noises, this scene is pretty intense. The fact that we hear the innocent sound of clapping amongst all of this is just so creepy. The idea of a little girl lurking around the corner but not being able to see her is what horror films are all about. The scariest clap scene comes when Mother Carolyn is locked in the basement with the lights out. She uses some matches to try and see what's going on before all of a sudden hearing a spirit asking, "Do you want to play hide and clap?" followed by some hands that pops up from behind Carolyn's head, making the clap. Number 6, Annabelle in the back seat. I guess you have to be a whole new level of brave to be a paranormal investigator in the first place, but the idea of sticking a doll known to be haunted and absolutely terrifying in the backseat of your car just seems a very strange decision for anyone to make. Having just returned to the series, Ed and Lorraine Warren do exactly that in Annabelle Comes Home. As Ed gets out to check the engine, we see him surrounded by various terrifying demons and ghosts, before one of them kicks him out into the path of a truck coming towards him. Number 5, The Girl in the Corridor. Early on in Annabelle, we see Mia alone in a new apartment being haunted by all sorts of classic horror tropes. It's a slow burn with things moving around and Mia herself being thrown to the floor, all before the figure of a child, who we assume is Annabelle's ghost, is standing on the other side of a bedroom door. That's just creepy enough, but then she runs towards Mia, turning into a fully grown, screaming woman just as she slams the door open. It's a classic, intense scene. Number 4, The Wardrobe. False assertions of safety are something the creators of The Conjuring love to play around with. The first film in the series shows us every angle of an old creepy looking wardrobe. Obviously our first thought is that something is going to come out of it, perhaps from underneath it or maybe even the side. It seems everything is clear and this was just a blood pressure raising a false alarm. Suddenly the camera pans up and we see a horrifying demon lurking on top of the wardrobe. And if that's not scary enough, the demon then jumps down off the wardrobe and onto one of the daughters. Number 3, The Graveyard. While The Nun might not be the most critically acclaimed film in the Conjuring franchise, that was just because of a weak storyline, not its ability to project fear. The horror of the film is quite the opposite in fact, it's really scary. Around halfway through the film, we follow Father Burke through a graveyard where a sequence of absolutely horrifying things happen. He sees a guy with an alien thing bursting out of his mouth. He is then buried alive. The demon rings all of the bells to stop him being found, and to top it all off, it isn't just him in the coffin. Number 2, The Introduction of Annabelle. Considering the franchise is almost built around the Annabelle doll, we don't get a lot of her in the first Conjuring film. However, what we end up getting is probably her creepiest moment ever. The first we ever see of the possessed doll on screen, she is facing away from the viewer. Obviously this is a doll, it can't move. However, her head slowly twists to face us like a creepy owl, with that menacing haunting smile and eyes staring all the way through our heads. It sets the whole Conjuring universe up perfectly, wanting us to see more of this creepy doll. Before we get to number 1, please don't forget to hit that subscribe button. We currently upload 2 new videos every week, so make sure to hit that notification bell as well. Number 1, The Nun in the Painting. The impact of this scene of the sequel to The Conjuring may well have been ruined by its inclusion in the trailer, but its visual impact and truly terrifying execution make it the scariest part of the entire Conjuring universe. With Lorraine trapped in her office, the painting of the nun hanging on the wall is a constant presence for creepiness. For a moment you start to wonder if it really is nothing more than a painting, but soon enough you find out we were all wrong. The nun starts to creep around the room before turning into an absolute monster and running at Lorraine. And that was 10 scary moments from the Conjuring movies. So what was your scariest moment from the Conjuring universe? Let us know in the comments box below. Thank you all for watching, we will see you next time.